To me, the biggest, most destructive myth about history and what has historically made life good for people or bad for people is the idea that if we are to prosper, government must make smart plans for us. And of course it must plan the economy. This is what I was taught in college, and despite the failure of the Soviet Union, many government leaders still believe that's true. Some years ago, I went to India and interviewed Calcutta's political boss. He was a socialist, and his party had been in charge of that part of India for years. And despite the poverty and dysfunction he should have seen all around him, he still said the free market and American capitalism are no good.
If America becomes socialist, it will be good.
Better than capitalism.
Better than capitalism.
Hashim Abdul Halim is political boss of the part of India I visited. The socialists have been in charge here for years, so it's not surprising that this is the poorest part of the country.
Calcutta is poor because of your stupid policies.
No, it's not right. We have risen in the ladder. We have not gone down.
Socialism just works better.
It's 100 times.
That interview obviously was done years ago. He and his party continue to rule and plan for another dozen years. Only this May, after Indian voters finally got upset watching businesses and jobs flee to other parts of India, did they vote the socialist government out. Overwhelmingly. Good for them. But the socialists ruled for decades because central planning makes sense to people. Life is complex. We can't pay attention to everything. We have lives. We're busy. Our intuition tells us someone should be in charge. What would the economy be like if no one was in charge? Well, it would be pretty good, actually. Certainly better than one that is centrally planned. Look at this list of countries. These places are centrally planned. These are the nations at the bottom of the index of economic freedom. A country's ranking depends on things like rule of law. Is your person and property secure? Is the country relatively free from corruption? What's the level of government spending in relation to the full economy? Do they have labor freedom? Are you free to hire and fire people? Are workers free to change jobs? It's no coincidence that the countries with the least economic freedom are the worst places in the world to live. They're not only not free, they're poor. Now look at the countries on top of the economic freedom list. The United States has fallen to 9th, unfortunately, behind even Canada. We fell mostly because of our increased regulation, increased government spending, and government guarantees for things like housing. At the top of the list is Hong Kong. What does it take to be ranked the most economically free? Well, they have low taxes, and as I learned when I went there for ABC, they make it easy to become an entrepreneur.
Here in Hong Kong, handing in one form was all I had to do.
Thank you, sir.
The next day, I was in an indoor shopping center, running my own business, Stossel Enterprises. This opportunity to try, even dumb ideas, is what's made Hong Kong thrive.
And Hong Kong sure has thrived. They have few natural resources. Hong Kong is just a rock in the middle of an ocean. They don't even have democracy. They were ruled by the British for years, and now the communist Chinese are in charge. But the good news is that both the Brits and even the Chinese largely left Hong Kong alone. And left alone, free people make themselves rich. It's an amazing story. In just 50 years, they went from horrible poverty to income levels that are among the highest in the world. Prosperity, thanks to economic freedom. We should try that here. That's our show for tonight. Good night.